There we go. That's the kind we want right there. That's the kind we want right there. I mean, it's probably 2 feet deep here.
Hey everyone, James Niggemeyer here. Thank you for tuning back into the YouTube channel. The other day I was out fishing at the end of the day and I was just rolling footage and just getting some raw, uncut fishing and talking about bait placement and casting angles and casting distance, different things like that in order to generate strikes. Hope you guys get something out of it. Here we go.
It's late in the day and I hope you can see this, but in the very back of this one stretch is a lot of scattered wood. And I feel like this is kind of a lost art. Wanted to kind of share just kind of what I mean by really taking a square bill and getting right up where you would only throw a spinner bait or flip a plastic or a jig, and you're going to have stuff like this. You just kind of have to sift through it all. But the thing about it is that a crankbait can get you a reaction strike that really is so different than a spinner bait or a flipping type bait. And so it's real important to, just kind of throw caution to the wind and make very precise casts, very precise lure placements in and around what looks like nothing but a snag. Try to show you this a little bit more. Essentially, there's just a lot of old decayed wood, a lot of old stumps, tree limbs that have fallen down, and even like this old tree from when the lake was flooded. So basically, just trying to make the most precise cast, little underhand cast, little what we call roll cast, just like that. And sometimes it takes multiple casts to the same piece of cover to elicit a strike, to get a fish to bite. Like right up here, it's so shallow up here. I think I just spooked a bass out of that little limb right there that, I can basically see the bottom. And you just kind of put the trolling motor down, cover water. Essentially what you're looking for is a couple of fish or a wolf pack of fish or just a stretch or an area where you can get some good bites that would be maybe overlooked by a spinner bait or a flipping type bait that you wouldn't get other ways. Like right here in front of me, it's hard to see, but there's a big old laydown right here. And I'm just running this square bill across the limbs, coming in contact with them, just going over each limb, and I'm trying to actually hit as many of these limbs as possible. Oh, there we go. Golly, I just had one roll on me right there. He rolled on it, but he didn't quite get it. That's interesting. There we go. Oh, he got it. Oh, he came off. Golly. So it's almost like flipping a crankbait, essentially. I wish you guys could have seen that. Fish just rolled up out of that little laydown and just ate this crankbait like he came up from underneath it. And I thought I had him and just came off. There'll be a couple more little targets around the corner here.
basically some of the ingredients that I'm looking for in order to fish a square bill on short line and make those roll cast or short underhand pitches to these targets is I need stained water, preferably, even though it's shallow, the close proximity of a creek channel always helps, and the presence of bait fish.
Takes quite a bit of practice, and really, golly, I had one little guy hit it right there. Takes quite a bit of practice, and really, the harder you throw it, the more difficult it is to place the lure where you want it. It's just usually a nice soft little roll cast, and you're just getting it up there as close as you can, and presenting the bait as close to the cover as possible. You got this cedar tree down here. It's gonna have a lot of limbs on it. I've got some stumps ahead of me. Got some good looking stuff. See if we can catch one out of this right here. Sometimes it's a stop and go deal, and sometimes it's just a straight retrieve.
The thing about fishing shallow cover is the fact that you're really going to have to cover some water and endure the fishless areas until you get to a section that may only be like 50 feet long, but you can get 1, 2, or even 3 bites, and even a good one in a small section. And then there'll be fishless periods again, but you're covering water, looking for those areas the fish want to utilize more.
A lot of times when you think crankbait, you think you need to make a long cast, and that's not necessarily so. Just a 30 to 50 foot pitch like that. I mean, some of these are not even that, 20 footers. You're just trying to run them down the edge of like a lay down or a stump or a stub, any kind of wood cover. And they can come out and get it. Definitely not what I'm after, but kind of get the picture. Golly. And that's what I'm talking about right there. Oh gosh, just as I was gonna lift it out of the water. Look at that crappie back here. I switched from a bait fish colored one to this kind of, well, it's a crawdad color, but it's got more almost like a fire tiger, just because it's a little dirtier back here. There we go. That's the kind we want right there. That's the kind we want right there. I mean, it's probably 2 feet deep here. That's it right there. Fish just crawling around in some really shallow water. I'm gonna need my pliers. Look at that guy right there. That's a Bill Lewis ATV 1.5. I think it's called like green craw. And that's like a 3 3/4, close to 4-pounder. And if you notice, I caught that little one, then I caught that crappie, but I lost those two over there. I'd gone through a long stretch with nothing, and then it was just bam, 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 bam. And so that's kind of how it happens. But you gotta get out there, cover water, and you'll get in a zone, and you'll just be running this in like less than 2 feet of water, ricocheting it off limbs and different things like that. If you can find a ditch or depression or creek channel, something like that, that's gonna be a key area. But the number one thing you want is bait or bluegill.
That good fish came out of the end of this laydown that's kind of bushy off here to the very right, that's coming into frame right now.
But the basic thing about this whole kind of pattern or presentation is getting your bait in and around that cover, touching it if you can. Just looking at what's in front of you and throwing around as close as you can. If you could run it into cover, even better. That fish right there was not even, say, 5 feet off the bow. I mean, he just came off of a stump that I threw over at, just like a 15-foot pitch. Just came out and annihilated that square bill. What? I don't understand, why is it? Dang. Good girl. That must be on the stump. What in flip?
The rod I'm using is a Phoenix M1 7.2 medium heavy with a Bass Pro Shops Johnny Morris Platinum Signature Series reel, 8.3 to 1 gear ratio, and 14-pound test Gamma Edge fluorocarbon line.
I rolled that one over top of a stump, and he came out from underneath it and grabbed the back of it. It's really cool because a lot of times, I wish I could show you this, but you can actually see the strikes on these fish coming up.